You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Vogel versus Vogel.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Good day. Mr. Vogel, you currently owe $43,000 in child support for the defendant's son, who you say is not yours, and you claim to know who his father is.
That's right.
Once today's results prove that you are not his biological father, you say you will return to your home state to get this enormous debt erased.
Yes.
Ms. Vogel, you say the plaintiff is motivated by money and have always believed he is your son, William's father.
Yes,
After
Your Honor.
30 years, you are finally ready to prove the truth today. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor. Yes, Your
So,
Honor.
Mr. Vogel, who do you believe his father is?
My brother, David.
Oh,
She had sex with my brother in my car in a parking lot in Janesville, Wisconsin.
okay, wait a minute. Just take me back.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but there was no sex in the car. It was under a bridge. My son is a bridge baby. I don't know where he got that, but...
But you're admitting that you were intimate with his brother.
Yes, ma'am.
Just not in the car,
Your Honor,
under
I
a
was.
bridge.
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
Let's get it right. So, what was the nature of your relationship with Mr. Vogel?
It was real rocky.
Okay.
Real rocky.
But you were married,
Yes, I was.
okay, to Mr. Vogel.
Yes.
William was born during your marriage,
Yes, Your Honor.
so you would be presumed to be the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So during the time in which Ms. Vogel is pregnant, do you believe William is your child during that time? Do you know about this sex with your brother?
I had a thought that it was somebody in my family, and I figured it was probably my brother. You start to think, and things are going wrong in the relationship, and my brother is doing certain things, and it's like, wait a minute, you two must be getting together or something. And that's when everything started clicking in my head, and I started putting dates together. He was born on November 17th. She had divorced me already, and I went down to Kentucky to talk to her for a little while. I stayed with her for like 3 or 4 days, and she told me the story of the car, and February 19th, I guess, just to get me mad and get me going, and that she had sex with my brother.
After 3 years, we got married.
Oh, so then you married his brother.
Yeah, 3 years after I divorced him.
How do you get to a point where you're going to sleep with your husband's brother?
Well, the bridge thing, he treated me better. He was good to me. And he just was that smooth that he just talked me right out of my britches. Literally. And
Can I interject for a moment? You'd have to actually get a better understanding of his brother, David. This man, he's got a sly tongue. He's got a snake's tongue. He could pretty much talk anybody into generally anything. So I wouldn't doubt what my mother is saying.
What are you thinking?
I haven't had a secure thought in years. About 2 years ago, my mom pretty much, she came to me and she told me there's a possibility that David could be my father. And what she basically told me was that she had had sex with him under a bridge. Now, that's my understanding of it. It hasn't changed over the last 2 years.
Okay, who did you grow up believing was your biological father?
Well, I had grown to the age of 5, and my understanding that David was my father, and then all of a sudden my mother had kind of come to me when I was 5 and gave me a better understanding that my Uncle Daniel might have been my father. And then she basically told me that he was my father, so I had a lot of head trips at that point in time. Didn't really understand at that point.
I'm head tripping right now. But Mr. Vogel, Daniel here is the one paying child support for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, right.
it's all about the money anyway.
It's not about the money, it's about the children. I have this right here, which is proof that $43,000.
Let me see that evidence, please, Jerome. This is proof
And I've
of the
paid-
amount of support you've been paying.
I've been paying in 2 states since 1990. They're taking my federal tax down in Kentucky. The state of Wisconsin's taking my state tax. I have no money. My 3 children, my wife raised with me in the house because I had no money. I couldn't give them Christmas presents. I couldn't give them birthday presents. I couldn't do nothing for my own children. And these are my children. These are pronounced to not be my children. It's not here
So
anyway.
over $43,000 owed
Yes.
on children you don't know are really your biological children.
Right,
William,
Your
you don't know. And truthfully, William grew up, he didn't even think at first you were his biological father.
Right, Your
But you
Honor.
were paying support even all that time.
Yes, Your Honor.
The legal lesson in this is that the court is going to consider the best interest of the child.
Right.
If the child was born during the marriage, you're presumed to be the father.
Yes, I know, Your Honor.
And most states give a window of time
Yeah.
to refute that, to bring proof.
Well, Your
evidence.
Honor,
I have
I've
tried
even
for
went
all these
in
years to refute
and
it, and
expunged.
And I was just about to say, and some courts don't choose to acknowledge
They
or
don't
move
acknowledge
forward
nothing when you're
if
married.
they believe it's in the best interest of the child.
I have,
And now I have a young man standing in my courtroom, quite frankly, that says he hasn't had a secure thought in years.
No, he hasn't.
Because he doesn't have a firm foundation.
No, he
because
doesn't.
he doesn't know who his father is. It's like changing by the decade.
Yeah.
One decade he has one father.
Next,
The next
another.
decade, that father is his uncle, and then the uncle is the father. The next decade, then that uncle becomes his father, and the father becomes an uncle. This is too much. If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So once, William, you got word that potentially Mr. Vogel, Daniel, could be your biological father, how did the dynamic change then?
Well, at that point in time, I wanted to get to know my father. I wanted to get to know the man standing here before us. I actually took a little bit of time and actually had the opportunity to go and spend a little bit of time with him. He's a wonderful man. I didn't really get much time beyond that. Off and on throughout the years, I've had times here and there just kind of juggled between my mother and my supposed biological
I
father.
never got to see my kid.
And he got to see me once in a while. It wasn't very often. Majority of the time living with David, I had actually been moved around from state to state. We really didn't stay in one place for a very long period of time. So my understanding of it was David was my father because he was the one raising me. But Daniel was my biological father. And
So you're in a situation where your uncle could be your father, but your father could be your uncle.
yes, Your Honor.
Either way, your uncle is. Either way.
Either way, my uncle's my father.
Either way.
And I come from the state of Kentucky, so that sounds kind of weird, kind of offbeat. So I mean,
Really, William?
Mr. Vogel, sometimes you just have to laugh to keep from crying, people, okay?
I understand.
Sometimes you just have to laugh. Mr. Vogel, have you ever tried to figure out a timeline to piece this together?
I
Because the
have.
truth is, if she was still married to you when William was conceived, then that's why we're here, is because
I've got it.
potentially you could be his biological father as well as your brother.
And I have beat myself up for many years trying to figure out the difference between this, the timeline, and everything else.
Okay,
I've looked at
let's
this
walk
timeline.
through
I've
this.
walked through the dates. I've done everything for
Walk
years.
through the dates with me. Walk through the dates with me.
She told me February 19th of 84. That was the story back then.
February 19th of 84 was what?
Was when her and my brother had sexual relations.
So February 19th.
wow,
Wow. Okay, so that's
that opened that can.
brother. Did you really have sex with his brother on his birthday, Ms. Vogel?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Whoa. When was William born?
November 17th.
17th.
So that's William born.
Well, Your Honor, what really made the difference is I was gone and I came home on the 27th of February when we were set to move down to Kentucky. We moved there on the 1st of March, and Donna was having her menstrual period, of which she did every time she had, well, which she did when she had my oldest son.
The bottom line is you're saying you were not intimate with her
Not until about the 7th of March,
until about the 7th of March.
when we got down to Kentucky.
So that's husband and wife time. What was going on around February 19th? You were gone?
I was gone, yes.
Oh, yeah, he was gone.
So the affair with the brother started when he was away.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So that February 19th is the bridge.
Well, Your Honor,
We'll just put a bridge. William, I understand your confusion, honey. This is a lot.
And the main purpose and reason why I'm here is for my children. I've got a 4-year-old, 2 3-year-olds, 18-month-old. I mean, what am I going to tell them?
I just need this taken care of. I
Well-
still have a warrant out for my arrest in Wisconsin. I could go to jail. I've been to jail for contempt of court twice, equaling 8 months, which is way over the limit of what I owe right now, even right there. At $50 a day, paying $120
And all
a
of
week.
this for failure to pay child support. All of this.
I clearly look like that man. I mean, I've got his body structure. I've
So,
got his
William,
attitude.
you
I've got-
believe you look like David Vogel, the brother.
Yes, Your Honor. I've done a lot of research over the years, and I've actually come to a point where I have understood a little bit more about genetics than what I really want to kind of delve into. But to my understanding, it doesn't matter whether or not it is David or Daniel. I could look like either one of them. I could look like my grandfather. I could look like my aunt. I mean,
We see that a
in
lot.
Genetics, I mean, I do look a lot like my mom, but I look more like David than anybody. So, I mean, that's where my questions lie. I
Mom,
wanna
Ms.
know.
Vogel, as you stand here in court today, has any of this testimony affected your belief? Because you've told him back and forth. Is it just because you've just always been confused?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. Because I just don't know.
Well, that's why we're here.
Daniel.
I thank you for that. That's okay. That's all forgiven, Donna. It's forgiven. Has been, you know that.
Now, that's the kind of stuff I'd like to see under the bridge, Jerome. That's what I want to see under the bridge. Thank you for that, Mr. Vogel. Because I don't think we can undervalue the power of just forgiveness. You know, it would have been easy, Ms. Vogel, to sit in this courtroom and sit in this seat and how could you and how this and how that. But I read the facts. And most importantly, I can see the sincerity of your regret.
I can see it too.
The sincerity of it.
Yes, she's very sincere about it.
Because what she got to see, and I often talk about this to young women in this courtroom, when you seek counsel under the covers, when you run and jump into bed with somebody else, people believe the quickest way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else, and that just isn't true. And when it happens, you create situations you don't intend that have consequences that you would never intend, and she sees the way it has affected her son. And the
With all my
confusion,
heart.
I can see that. And hurting him and having him experience that level of doubt and not have a firm foundation to stand on or a secure thought, as he put it, that is enough to make you understand your consequences and how they've affected others. So with that said, thank goodness this courtroom exists because we have the answers for you today.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm ready for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. This has been very emotional. Ms. Vogel, you have been very emotional. Is there anything you'd like to say to your son, William?
I'm just sorry that it happened this way. I didn't know what else to tell him.
William, when you see your mother expressing this kind of regret, you've been through a lot. Is there something you'd like to say to your mom?
I'm going to love you either way it goes. You're my mom.
Here we go. In the case of Vogel versus Vogel, to determine whether Daniel Vogel or his brother David Vogel is the father of 31-year-old William Vogel. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Daniel Vogel, you are his father.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Finally back.
Mr. Vogel,
Yeah.
you look shocked.
I'm more than shocked.
I saw it.
I have paid all my life for somebody I didn't know whether it was mine or not. Now I know I needed to pay, so that's water under the bridge. I know that he is mine. I'm glad I paid for him. I'm happy that he's mine. You know,
And I want you all to think about how to move forward. We have counseling and resources for all of you because it's not going to just end here. Now, the man you believed was your father growing up is, in fact, your uncle. And this man who you believed is your uncle is your biological father. But at least we got it straight.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
Right? And so take advantage of the counseling, figure out how to work through this as a family, but most importantly, stick together. Because family's all we got.
Oh, me and him
All right.
can work through it. We don't need any counseling, do we, boy?
Even if you feel like you don't, I think Mom could use it. So I wish you all the very best of luck. Court is adjourned.
Thank you so much. You're all right, man. You're all right.